to be looking at reclaiming. The road section in this street is thicker than the ones that we were just speaking about, so we're going to be looking at reclaiming the top 10 inches of this road base. And again, this grinds all the material and blends it together to give a nice uniform base to support that road. We're going to be doing spot curb replacements, again, replacing any castings for sanitary or storm that are out of date. One of the things different on this project, we're going to be looking at installing a walk along the east side of BB Road. That was something we heard from the residents during our residents' meetings. In the funding plan, I don't have it listed here, but we also include funds for off-project street lining for sanitary mains. This is something we typically add on to our street reconstruction projects each year, as well as a fog seal for a off-street project area. Again, this is part of trying to maintain that. These are roads that we've already invested in reconstruction, and we want to maintain that asphalt as long as possible. So looking at the financing, the estimated project cost for this is $1.5 million. The project, again, during the design, we'll look at trying to identify some bid alternates. So what we want to make sure that we always have the ability to do is bid out the whole project and make sure that as the bid results come back in, that we're able to do as much of the project as we can while holding to the available funding. So looking at the financing plan here, again, we worked with the finance director on this. I should mention that this is a state aid road. So we'll be utilizing some state aid fundings, but it also means we have to make all the state aid requirements with that. We'll be utilizing GEO bonds as well as special benefit assessments and a variety of other city funds. Looking ahead, if we move forward, the public hearing will be on November 23rd. We'll be looking to bid this project out in March, and then looking at the spring of 2016 for construction. And with that, I'm available for any questions.
Hey, Mr. Love, I was looking at the map. I don't know if you can bring the map up, but you know, there's those on Southwind and Southwind Road. I believe those are townhomes, right, in there. And are there across the street? Is it a big apartment complex, or there's something over here, right?
Yes. Mayor, members of council, yes, that's correct. There is apartment complexes as well as townhomes and residential homes in this area.
So how does that work with apartment complexes? They just get the owners of the apartment complexes are getting assessed, right?
Yep. Madam Mayor, again, we utilize our independent appraiser to determine a benefit to the properties. Generally speaking, I believe the owner of the apartment gets the assessment for the apartment complex. With townhomes, I think we look at the units that are actually accessing off that road would be individually assessed.
I mean, this might sound just intuition, but probably not true, right? That their assessments aren't higher because there's less units than maybe in the other area, right?
Mayor, members of the council, the way the assessments would work is they would still be based off of our maximum amount that we have that I mentioned earlier. They won't be any higher than that, but in the end, they're going to be based on the independent appraisal. So it'll be a determinant of what the benefit is to those properties, and we'll utilize that as far as our assessment rate. But it won't be higher, again, than the individual unit rate.
Thank you. Councilmember Juniman.
Actually, two comments. Number one, I'm with the neighbors who wanted that trail along BB. That road has had kids walking on it since time began, I believe. And you know, the two schools, well, it was two schools, now it's two different schools, and then there's a certain amount of traffic of foot traffic that goes up BB to get up to the park area. So I think that's going to be a great improvement. And I have to say, as much as I feel for the people in South Maplewood, the previous project, you gotta say, BB Road 13.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's been that way for a long time. I really think our Public Works Department deserves some kind of a medal for gluing it together as long as they have. You can tell by looking at it. I mean, the amount of, I'm just wondering what the soils are like underneath that road from being waterlogged for 30 years. But this is a good thing to bring up a neighborhood that has really been waiting for this and really needing it. Really needing it.
Councilmember Copen.
Townhouses to the east, those are private streets, aren't they?